All right. Hello, everyone. For the next client, Joan here, who's joining me for my client interview series, just to share their stories and share how far they've come in the time that I've known them, and to give you a little peek into what it would be like working with me. And so I'm going to hand it over to Joan. She will be doing most of the talking here because she's the one that you want to hear from, and her experience and just all the things that she's overcome and where she is now. And then I'll have some other questions as well. And yeah, so I'll let you introduce yourself, Joan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Joan, and I live in Richmond Hill. I am a retired teacher. I taught in the elementary panel for over 25 years. And after I retired, I came to be looking after three family members who were going through some difficult times. My best friend, who I shared an apartment with and a sailboat with, um, passed away after 38 years of friendship. Both my parents were elderly and encountering the difficulties that go with aging and needed a lot of support, both mentally and physically. And as it turned out, I did have to separate them, which was really very stressful. And my father resided at Sunnybrook in the Veterans Center, and my mother resided in Aurora. And as I live in Richmond Hill, that meant a lot of traveling. After my best friend passed away, I really had a hard time getting on my feet because we did a lot of things together. Everything, in fact. And she was my confidant and my cheerleader and my mentor. And we shared a sailboat, and I just felt that I could no longer sail without her. So I sold my boat and I bought a bike on the spur of a moment. And that's how I met Paige. I thought, okay, I've got this beautiful road bike, but what do I do? I mean, I know how to ride a bike, but I don't know, about all these wonderful gears and being on the road and how to look after this beautiful bike. My friends all thought I was crazy getting this bike and spending the amount of money on it that I did, but I have never regretted it. So I happened to see an ad for Paige doing her biking clinics. And I went to the biking clinic and I immediately felt an affinity for her. And on a break, we got to talking about, I don't know, just everyday things and how I got to be biking. And so I told her a little bit about my story, and she said, I think I can help you. So I took her first clinic and loved it, decided to take her second clinic on gears and hills, and discovered that I was terribly out of shape. Actually, it wasn't so much a discovery as a reality check. I knew that. Having looked after my parents and my friend for pretty much 24/7, 365 for about 5 years, I had lost who I was and let myself go. I didn't have time for exercise. I shouldn't say I didn't have time. I didn't make it a priority. I didn't make myself a priority. So Paige said, well, I can help you with that too. And so we went on to do a breakthrough, which I thought was going to be about food. As it turned out, it was about past relationships. But at the same time, she got me on the right track for, putting those relationships to bed, done, finished, and got me thinking about myself and my health and certainly, what I was putting into my body. And it has made a huge difference in my life. Now, Paige, I don't know if you want to interject here with questions or do you wish me to keep talking?
You can keep talking if you have more to say.
Well, I was just going to go into the whole,
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah.
So when we did our breakthrough, this was pre-COVID, so it was almost 2 years ago. We were able to meet in person, and Paige spent 9 hours with me. And I would say probably of those 9 hours, I cried for 8 of them at least. I mean, just it let so much out. Working with Paige is a very secure place. Um, she's got to be the least judgmental person I have ever met. It's a safe space. And as I said, I felt this affinity for her. I knew her heart was true and genuine. And so I was able to let out everything and not feel judged in any way. And at the end of the 9-hour breakthrough, I just felt so much lighter. My eyes were sore, but I felt so much better. Um, and she really changed my way of thinking about myself and about relationships, both with people and with food, and certainly myself. And I just, I felt empowered, like I'd been given permission to carry on and try new things and look for my strengths and look for my joys. And Paige truly changed my life that day because I was stuck. I had been to a counselor, I had been to my GP, and while they were helpful, they weren't what I needed. Um, my GP suggested perhaps medications. He also suggested the counselor. I didn't want to do the medication route. Um, the counselor was great. I think I did 5 sessions with her, and she gave me some things to think about and things to try, but it wasn't deep enough. Paige really dug deeply with me, and I think that made all the difference. Um, we talked about an entire spectrum of things. So it wasn't just strictly about the food or just the relationships. We touched on so many things. And so it left so many questions for me. Um, but I got a good start. I got my eating under control. Now I'm eating nutritiously most days. And I know what's good for me. She started me on things that I knew I should be doing. And I think it was just the push and the confidence and the belief in me that I could change things and that things would improve. So I guess it was less than a year later we did another breakthrough, and this was a spiritual breakthrough, and that has really helped me as well in all areas. So now I'm journaling, and I've started to meditate, and I've been, exercising regularly, and I've been breaking down the I can't do it walls because now I know I can do it. I was afraid to travel. Having been worrying about everybody else, I had lost my confidence. And so Paige, talked me through, well, what's the worst thing that could happen? And, we set small goals, and I did it. Last year, just before the COVID lockdown, I got on a plane by myself and I traveled to the far side of the United States, and I got on a cruise ship. Now, I did have friends on the cruise ship, so that was a bit comforting. But I now know that I can do that and so much more. My life has just been so enriched. I look at it in the moment more. I set myself goals. I've stopped doing things that are not a valuable use of time. Um, I'm happy. And here I am in my condo in lockdown by myself, and I'm still able to feel happy. So Paige was a step in the right direction for me, and we still continue to work together. I don't think I'll ever stop working with her because she's a cheerleader. And as I said, she makes you question things and look at things in a different way, and really is like having a life coach. That's what she is. She's a life coach to see me through my ups and downs.
Yay. And you have to share what you did when you were in Costa Rica.
Oh, okay. So on my bucket list, I
Because
have.
not only could Joan was like, you were like, I can't even think about packing a suitcase. Like that is just, because remember saying that?
I do.
You're like, that is just completely overwhelming to me.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, you're in Costa Rica doing what?
Zip lining. Yeah, it was all very scary because it probably had been 15 years since I'd traveled. And I don't know, just so many other things blocked my way. And I couldn't even begin to think about, what do I do for traveling? Like, how do I order a ticket? What do I take? How do I pack a suitcase? I mean, it seems ridiculous now, but that's where my head was at the time. So I had a couple of things on my bucket list, and one was to go zip lining. And so when I got to Costa Rica, I didn't even hesitate, because I'd managed to get on the plane, because I'd managed to get to the boat, because I knew I could do it. I signed up for the Costa Rica shore excursion, and I had a blast. Um, I was jumping off the ledges, and people were saying, "Wow, how can she do that?" Like, it was just, I had the confidence, and I had so much fun. And the other thing that I did, which was on my bucket list, was swimming with the dolphins. I jumped into that water, and I was just so excited to interact with the dolphins. The instructor had to keep saying to me, "Keep your hands down, let the dolphins get to know you a little bit first, and then this is what you will do." But I just wanted to hug them and swim with them. But yeah, it was so freeing.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. So, what did you like? I mean, you kind of touched on this. So if there's anything different, what did you like about working with me, or what hesitations did you have with working with me?
Actually, I didn't have any, because I was so stuck, and I knew at least that I needed to get out of this, whatever it was I was in, rut, or full stop. So I really didn't have any hesitation. I was very open to it, which I think people need to be. You need to be open to wanting to change. And as I said, I felt very comfortable with you. It was like we had this bond, even after a very short time. I felt very safe. I did not feel judged, and I knew that you had my best interests at heart. So there was really nothing I could say. I mean, I knew I needed it, and I did it for me.
Yeah. And so, what did you like best about working with me?
Um, the easy conversation, for sure. As I said, I felt very relaxed, and the fact that you questioned me, and I think that's really important. To shift my mind. You ask a question, and you still do, and you say, "Well, what about doing something like this?" Or, "Why don't you do it this way?" Or, "Why don't you try this?" And I think that's what I enjoy most. I mean, I love learning. And so when you question me, that forces me to learn. And I learn things about myself that I might have known, but now I consciously know. And so I think that was probably the biggest thing.
Okay. Um, so I guess, yeah, let me just see here. I'm just looking at my questions. What's the most important thing people should know about working with me?
Oh, the most.
This is my scary question.
I think that you have only their best interests at heart. When you meet somebody new, and it might be a different type of program than what you're used to, um, people might be a little scared, um, not sure where to go with it. But I know that you truly have everybody's best interests at heart, and you want people to be a better version of themselves. So I would say that that's the biggest thing, that you care, and that you will do whatever it takes to get them on the road to feeling better about themselves, whether it's spiritually or physically or emotionally. You will certainly guide them in the right direction.
Yeah, yeah, I'm super passionate about that, as you know,
Oh, absolutely.
because I had my own struggles, right? So
Right.
I'm going to do a whole series on all the big moments in my life and how they changed me.
Yeah.
So what is something that you would say? So, I work, like, you were in the perfect place. Like, you were super ready, and you knew that, uh, it was the same for me too. It was like, I can no longer keep living this way. Like, and I know that it's me that has to do something about it. It's not everything outside of me. So you start to see your patterns and everything like that. And so if, someone watching this is in that position where they're like, I can't live this way anymore. It's like, I have to shit or get off the pot, or I got to do something different, because counseling, therapy, whatever else they've tried has got them, some results, but not to where they want to be. What would you say to them? Is there any little?
I would say go for it. Pick up the phone and call Paige, email her. I would not hesitate to recommend you to anybody. And if they are in the right place, now's the time to start. If they're not quite there yet, maybe, a meeting or two with you, like we're doing right now on a Zoom, just to get a feel for, what's going on. But I cannot say enough about what you have created with me and for me so that I can move on in my life. I would just say go for it. I mean, and if it doesn't work out, I mean, if you try, connecting through a meeting, or if you try a breakthrough and it doesn't seem to work for you, then perhaps you need a little bit more time to think about what is going to be. But I can't believe that anybody who doesn't work with you, who works with you, doesn't come away with some improvement. And it's an ongoing thing. Like I said, I will continue working with you because in order to improve ourselves, we need to have a mirror, and you are my mirror. So you look at me and say, okay, we need to question all these beliefs that you have, or I'm going to challenge you with these tasks. Just go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, it's so true, because I think a lot of the times people sometimes think that personal development, like, because it's really what it is. It's been my lifelong passion, is just becoming the best version that I can be. And so it's no surprise that I'm now doing what I'm doing. It took me a while to find this, right? We were just talking before, like 44, I kind of did things backwards, where I did all the travel experience first and then the career later. And where was I going with that?
About working with you.
Yeah, it lost me. Now you get to see. We should have this like a blooper reel. Now you get to see where I lose my train of thought. It obviously wasn't that important, that what I was going to say. Anyway, yeah. So I think, I don't know, you've come so far since meeting you. You're an absolute, I think what I was saying was, personal development is not something that you're like one and done. This is something that if you're into this and that, at some certain age, you start to see patterns, or you're just really stuck and you can't move forward and you don't know what to do. That, once you start on the path, it's like, it becomes this thing that you really love to work on, right? Like, you really love to be better. And I seem to attract teachers, retired or not. And, like, people in all sorts of different people, obviously executives. I've done business owners and all that stuff. But it's kind of one of those things that you're always working on, becoming your best self, because there's absolutely zero harm in that. So
I wish I had done this sooner. I wish I had known you sooner. I wish you had started sooner, because as a teacher, building relationships and developing confidence and encouraging children is so important. Now, I believe I did do that, but I could have brought so much more to them had I realized that I have to look after myself more. So there would have been a balance. I mean, I threw myself into my work. So it was always all about the children. Um, but now looking back, if I had had more, or if I had been more of what I am now, it would have benefited them as well. But it's the same for everybody. Relationships are so important. I mean, we are social creatures. And so knowing, um, the positive ways to interact and being the best person makes such a huge difference when interacting with other people.
And I think it's like, when you get really clear and you really start to believe in yourself and fall in love with yourself, which is what I did, it's what you did, it's what all my clients have done, is just really truly accept who you are and are genuinely happy, not from things on the outside, but internally, that you can't, it's like a ripple effect where you can't help but affect all the people around you, right?
Mhm.
And the thing is like you start to give from a place of love, not because you think you have to or you want to impress. It's kind of like your cooking thing, right? It comes from love. There's no longer any resentment for giving or things like that. And I think people need to know that. But anyway, I think this is, a good note to end on. And
Okay.
yeah, it's been thank you for coming on here and doing this.
Oh, my pleasure. And to everybody out there who's thinking about it, as I said, just go for it. It will
Yeah.
change your life.
Yeah. And as Joan said, I do these things called powerful conversations. And so if you are thinking about it, and you want to just get to know me a little bit better and just talk about what your goals are, what you're looking to create in your life, what might be blocking you, then let's get on a call together. And so you can just message me or email me. And as you can see now, you know that I don't bite.
No, keep going.
And I'd love to celebrate, and I'm excited to hear what you're looking to create. So yeah, so until next time, until the next client, thank you so much, Joan, and we'll see you all later.
Okay. Thanks, Paige.
Mwah.
Bye.
Bye.